It's that time again. It's time for another Saturday night special where we talk about everything rockhounding related. Man, what can I say? This past week, Devil's Backbone down there, John Day River, Eastern Oregon, fabulous. What a great trip we had. I can't wait to show you guys all the videos. It was just overall very, very happy, you know, to be able to visit historically significant localities, collect some of the minerals that I've read about in books, and to see it firsthand today is just, it gives, for me, it gives a level of depth and insight into the hobby that I can't have otherwise. And of course, it's cool to be able to go out there, share it with you guys, share it with Sarah, have the dog along, all that good stuff. These are some of the nicer specimens. Obviously, I still have like some bins of stuff to eventually process down, and but you know, very, very beautiful. Let's turn on the light, maybe. How about that? Look at that. There's some illumination. But you know, in this case, we have anal seam over those calcite cubes, and with some kind of dirty mesylite in there. But very, very excellent to go out and see, and a great way to really kind of kick off our rockhounding season, which I'm so happy. I'm so happy the weather has shifted. We're able to get back out and start doing this stuff. Zeolites of the World, for those of you that don't know, this is kind of how I've been really exploring the world of Zeolites. That is a very expensive book. But Rudy, before he passed away, allowed Mindat to have a scanned PDF copy of it. So you can go get yourself a copy of Zeolites of the World for free, learn about zeolites, all that good stuff. Enjoy these beautiful, beautiful minerals, just like that. And been planning this kind of bigger Eastern Oregon trip, which we did, and yeah, just very stoked. You did see me cutting some of these, like I cut the bottom off of that guy, and it is nice to be able to have a trim saw to do some preparation, which really kind of leads me more into the bigger topic that I wanted to speak about this evening, which is saws, the cutting of rocks. Now, some of you may have seen this kind of long post that I put on the community tab. If you didn't, you can go check this out. But I have talked to so many people, so many of you, and the subject keeps coming up of cutting rocks. It is an important, necessary step. You know, we can take things like this, right, Thunder Egg, and you got to cut it. You got to have some type of saw. And I started with a tile saw. You know, I had a rigid brand, that's like Home Depot brand tile saw, and it did work. Okay, but there's a big difference between a tile saw and a lapidary saw. Tile saws are very aggressive. They spin usually at like 30, anywhere between like 33, 3600. They're high speed RPMs, 3600 RPMs-ish. High speed, you have to have thicker blades to manage that speed. And you will produce microfracturing. Now, this is something I've tested. I've looked at in the microscope. If you take a rock, right? If you take a rock, just like, this, okay, you take this thing and you cut it on the tile saw and you go to polish it. Ooh, look at that. You go to polish it. There will be ultra tiny fractures in the surface from a tile saw that are not necessarily there from a lapidary saw. Lapidary saw is spinning, 1800 RPM versus 36, finer blades, that type of stuff. So in the ideal world, having a lapidary saw, lapidary blade is better. Although they kind of can accomplish very similar things. And the reason I had a tile saw is because, well, it was available to me and I couldn't afford a lapidary saw. And that's kind of, that's the crux of it all, right? Like this on its own is cool. Okay, I'll give, I say that, but that's great. Like you learn a lot about rocks and minerals, rockhounding, lapidary, all that stuff by having this. So in my opinion, for most people cutting most things, I mean, obviously there's always exceptions to everything. The 10-inch lapidary trim saw is like an ideal size because you can buy slabs, cut small things in half. You know, there's a lot that you can do with that size. You can do most lapidary work for, you know, like a lot of people. You're not going to be taking big rocks, cutting big slabs on a 10-inch saw, but it will get you going. The problem that I see is the price of it. I like this idea of having an a la carte saw, where you can buy the body of a saw, an arbor, stuff like that, and then later on, you can get your own motor, get your own pulleys, get your own belts, like you piecemeal this thing out, and the hard to manufacture part you would buy. Maybe you have an old drill press. You can rip that motor off that drill press, put it on your new lapidary saw. Not a hugely profitable idea, and I think that's one of the reasons why we haven't seen manufacturers go for it, but I think it's a good idea. I think if a company or a person was able to bring to market an affordable saw body that is the saw body for the common man, everybody, it would build such a good, loyal following because it shows that they really do care. You know, you don't have to do this with all their products, but it would be so beneficial and would help so many people. You'd be planting the seeds of lapidary in so many minds. You would be responsible for doing something truly good. That's my opinion. You know, I think we need that. You know, the table, right? The table for the saw should be designed so that you can use a plastic bin as a shield. You know, do these things to make it easy for somebody. Make it easy, you know. I mean, the reality is, today, if I go to Harbor Freight and I want to buy a 10-inch tile saw, it's $540. That alone puts it out of the range for most people. And then once you get into lapidary saws that are 10 inches, it gets even more. Like, it's just, we got to have a different option. Let me know down below what you think. You know, I like this idea of being able to buy piece by piece when you can afford it. I think the lack of good saws is just a huge bottleneck that we need to figure out a solution for. And one thing that I've seen recently, you know, places like Facebook, stuff like that, people are digging out every olden wood saw. Now, making new wood saws. And it's hard to say, I would avoid a wooden saw. You know, these are often made out of old kits, and yes, they do work. It is a thing that you can buy or own. I know somebody has a wooden saw, but it's not a timeless item. It's not an heirloom type of saw. It's not made of metal. And you can also experience a lot of issues trying to make these things out of wood, of warping, and all of that. In my opinion, I think a wood saw should probably be something you avoid. Unless, of course, maybe it's of the drop variety. I would be more into the idea of a wooden drop saw where like it's just the blade comes down into the stationary rock, as opposed to auto feed vise bringing a rock into the blade. I think there's more room for preventing any types of warps and twisting, because if you have a box made out of wood, it can warp and twist in this 3 dimension, as opposed to an arm just kind of coming down and you're supporting with wood. So I'm not a big woodworker guy. I don't really care for making things out of dead trees. That said, I do think for stuff that doesn't involve a lot of water or oil, wood is an excellent tool. Let's look at the Richardson's high-speed sander. All of the blue that you see here is wood, and it works totally fine. Like, you're not exposing it to water. It's great. How about my carpet wheel? My carpet wheel, that all the black you see here, that is all wood that's been painted, and it works great. No warping, no whatever. These are all low moisture things. And even if you head over to the website, I'll drop a link down below to the article about the carpet wheel. There's photos and videos of other people's things that they've built, and they're getting great results with that as well. So wood is something that you can absolutely build machines out of. I have some ideas for another wooden machine that is not a saw, because, well, like we just discussed, with water, oil, and wood, you have issues. But these wooden saws are being sold now, and people are buying them. And I'm like, you're buying a 20-inch wooden saw for like $2,000, which that just blows my mind that they're selling for that. But that does say, hey, well, there is a bottleneck here where there's more people interested with money than there are physical things to be purchased. So if anybody wants a business idea, here's your opportunity to both make some money, do something really good for the hobby, and yeah, those things. That's the important things. Well, this coming week, we are going to be continuing on with our adventure through Eastern Oregon. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe. Throw me a thumbs up if you're able to. And for those of you who would like to financially support my work here, I do have channel membership turned on, and it goes a long way in making this content happen. So thank you, and I will catch you guys on the next video.